I wanted to give Jonathan Alter a big hug for pointing out something that so many people forget. You know, we talk about the history about elections when you have the presidency, the Congress, meaning the Senate and the House, and somehow that presents a clear and present danger for the party in office. There are reasons why, right? But here's an interesting thing. If I walk into a town and an apple fall off the tree every time I walk into the to that town, it could be that an apple falls off of the tree every single day. So every single day that I walk into that town, an apple would have fallen off the tree. Or maybe somebody sees me walk into town, and every time they see me walk into town, they force an apple off the tree. Was I causal? I didn't necessarily have to be causal. The reason why I bring that up, it is very important. We don't have a history of what has occurred over the last several years to present a clear and present message to America to say, hey, because Democrats are in full control of the government, somehow that's a clear and present danger to them keeping that control, given that what we have is a president that is actually functional, one that's working, and a Congress that is actually attempting to be functional, except the Senate, of course. But anyhow, listen to Jonathan Alter, and then we'll take it on the other side because he makes a very important point. Let's continue with that.
Jonathan Alter, we saw a consequence last night in New Mexico, special election to fill the seat in the 1st Congressional District, Deb Haaland's seat. She's gone on to the Biden cabinet. And the Democrat, Melanie Stansbury, won 60.3% of the vote. She had a bigger margin there than Joe Biden. She had a 24.6% margin. Joe Biden had a 23% margin in that district. Deb Haaland, just in the last election, had only a 16% margin. So the continuation of Trumpism does not seem to be helping.
Well, that was an urban district, heavily Democratic district, and I don't think we should read too much into it. But the larger point, Lawrence, is that this assumption that the Democrats are necessarily going to lose seats in the 2022 midterms because of voter suppression, because of the normal physics of American politics, where the party out of the White House almost always loses seats, that assumption might be false. And the reason for that is some of what Zerlina was talking about, that, disgust with Trump is still alive in the land. And also, when you try to take away people's right to vote, the backlash against that, the fact that for black voters, that their parents and grandparents in some cases died for the right to vote, you could see turnout in a midterm election that matches or approaches turnout in a general election, in a presidential election year. And if that happens, if the midterms approach presidential level turnout, it's a blowout for the Democrats.
Now, like I said, there is no history for the confluence of events that have occurred and that are actually occurring. You know who really knows that we have a potential for a blowout? That is Republicans. That is why they're trying to stifle the vote. But as Jonathan said there could be a huge backlash, and there would likely be a huge backlash because here on the ground, an activist that we are here, we are seeing that the people are already starting to ensure that people know that that people are trying to take their votes away. So they have already started to activate. It's deeper. We have one of the reasons the Democrats didn't do as good or as well as they would have liked to do is because, again, the pandemic didn't have that touch, didn't allow that person-to-person touch that the Republicans did because of, we know how they think. But anyhow, as it turns out, the history does not match what many fear. The Republicans understand that they're in danger of a blowout, and that's why they're trying so hard. But most importantly, what we have to not do is create a reality that's not there. In other words, we should not create a narrative that gives people the impression that it's already cooked that we're going to lose seats. I'm going to tell you what I think. I think we have the potential, as Jonathan Alter just said, to have a very effective blowout. Mark my word. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead, number one, subscribe to our channel, and number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.